So, you're a manual tester, and you feel like you've hit a wall, a career ceiling. Well, you're in exactly the right place. We're about to lay out a really clear, decisive playbook for making that jump from QA to a full-fledged web developer role. Let's dive right in. Here's how we're going to break it down. We'll go through this in 5 stages. First, we'll talk about why you might be feeling stuck. Then, we'll get into your secret weapon, automation. After that, we'll talk about building your developer toolkit, then tackling that tough interview challenge, and finally, how to rebrand yourself from a tester into a software engineer. All right, let's start at the beginning, the QA career crossroads. It's that feeling of stagnation, right? That sense that a lot of experienced manual testers eventually get. The industry is shifting, and the skills that got you here might not be the ones that get you to that next level. And look, this isn't just you. It's a really common experience. This quote from a Reddit user just nails it. In this super fast-paced, automated world we're in, some companies are even starting to see experienced manual testers as liabilities. So this career pivot, it's not just about ambition. It's a smart, strategic move to future-proof your career. Okay, now for the most important first step on your new path, automation. I want you to think of this not as some detour, but as the most direct bridge you can build to get to a developer role. It's where you start using the skills you already have to build brand new ones. This quote right here gets to the absolute heart of it. When you're writing automated tests in a language like Python or JavaScript, you are, fundamentally, doing a development task. You're working with the DOM, you're handling asynchronous stuff, you're writing code. This is your launchpad. Let's just quickly break down what modern testing actually looks like, say in a React project. You've got different levels. At the very bottom, you have unit and component testing with tools like React Testing Library. That's for checking the small, isolated pieces. Then integration tests make sure those pieces all play nicely together. And at the top, you've got end-to-end testing with a tool like Cypress, which checks the entire user's journey from start to finish. Understanding the difference between these two is so important. Think of it this way. Cypress is like your end-to-end champion. It acts like a real user clicking through your entire app. React's testing library, or RTL, that's your component specialist. It makes sure every single little building block of your user interface works exactly like it should. This makes your tests way more robust and less likely to break when you change your code. So, with that foundation in automation, it's time. Time to build out your core developer toolkit. This is where you really dig in and learn the essential technologies you need to build professional, modern web applications. And it really breaks down into a simple 3-step plan. First, you have to master the fundamentals: HTML, CSS, and modern JavaScript. These are totally non-negotiable. Second, you pick a modern framework like React, and you go deep. And third, and this one is absolutely critical, you have to build and deploy real portfolio projects. This is the tangible proof, the evidence that you can actually ship working code. And this checklist, this is basically what hiring managers are scanning for. Your resume needs to just scream developer. That means highlighting your skills in React and JavaScript, Node.js for backend stuff, state management libraries, build tools, and of course, your hands-on experience with testing frameworks and deployment. This is your target skill set. All right, so you've built your skills, you've got some projects under your belt. Now you're going to face the final gatekeeper for those mid-level and senior roles, the system design interview. And this one isn't about writing perfect code, it's all about architecture and how you think. So what even is a system design interview? Well, it's basically a big open-ended conversation where an interviewer asks you to design a large-scale system, something like a newsfeed or a ride-sharing app, from a really high-level perspective. Yeah, the key difference here is the focus. A coding interview tests if you can solve a pretty well-defined problem with code. A system design interview, on the other hand, tests your ability to handle ambiguity. It's a discussion. It's all about architecture, trade-offs, scalability, and being able to justify your decisions. And there's almost never a single right answer. These are the kind of things you will be expected to talk about. How would the system scale? How are you going to handle data and caching? What are the pros and cons of different ways to render the page? Interviewers really just want to see how you reason through these big, complex architectural decisions, not just that you know the name of our framework. Okay, you've done the hard work. Now for the final, and I think most empowering, phase, reframing your identity. This is all about presenting yourself not as a tester who learned how to code, but as a software engineer who just happens to have this unique and really valuable background. And this is so important. Your testing background isn't a weakness, it is your superpower. Seriously, you have this deep domain knowledge of how software gets built. You are literally an expert at finding weird edge cases. That user-first perspective is incredibly valuable for writing code that's robust and high quality. So here's exactly how you reframe your resume. Step 1. Lead with your engineering skills. Put React, JavaScript, Node.js right at the top. Step 2. Describe your automation work as development experience, because that is what it is. And step 3, maybe the most important, showcase your live deployed projects. A link to a working application is the ultimate proof of your new identity. So there you have it. We've laid out the entire playbook, from that very first step into automation all the way to acing that final interview. The path is clear. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?